Hey, what up, everybody? Steve Breach coming to you with the Impact report from last night. Honestly, I thought that last night's TNA Impact was, I want to say, a great show, but I didn't like the main event. The main event was the only thing that I thought was lacking. Everything else was really, really good. So it's a better than good show, but it wasn't by far great. Highly recommend anybody check it out. If not, let's just chit-chat and talk about everything that was going down. There was a lot of good angles on this show, even if they were just built for the show, not long-running angles. Main purpose of the show was to set up the Hardcore Homecoming pay-per-view. That's going to be next week on Spike TV. It's a pay-per-view for free. I'm loving this whole thing. It's sort of like building up the Clash of the Champions for WCW. You know, they'd always be on TBS, and they would give away a free 3-hour show that was nothing short of one of the best shows that they would run all year long. It was just a way that they started setting up to go up against WrestleMania, and it was a long-running tradition that ran until basically pay-per-view took over. And TNA last year cut back, said they weren't going to do as many pay-per-views because they were losing money. And honestly, I think right now, especially with Spike TV being the one thing really keeping TNA alive, they need to keep doing these as often as possible. Whenever there is a pay-per-view, or whenever there is a month without a pay-per-view, make sure you have a special show lined up with a big main event that people are going to care about. You give it a name like this, and people are going to understand the gimmick and make sure that it is a show that they don't want to miss. I know that the last show was a big success with Chris Sabin winning the title, and people tuning in to see if he was going to win the title. This one might not be as big as a surprise. It's Chris Sabin and Bully Ray in a rematch, and they set some stipulations up. The whole show started, the show first started with Mike Tenay trying to come into the arena, and Taz and Ace and Eight they didn't really jump him, but they were out to intimidate him and scare him, so he wouldn't go into the building. That set up a booth of Taz and JB for most of the night. Mr. Anderson was out there until his match. He was a really good plus to add to the thing with Ace and Eight taking it over. They really intimidated JB to the point that where, this is Taz's desk, and that he was going to be the guy that was setting everything up. Bully Ray came out to start out the night on the mic. He did a big killer promo, running down everything in TNA, basically him getting his title back next week. Tito Ortiz showing up the week before. I was under the understanding that Tito was sort of going to be like a heel for TNA, I guess you can say, but Tito's just sort of going to be his own entity, because it looks like he's not with Aces and Eights, and he's not with the good guys either. Basically, with Bully Ray being out there and running everything down about everything, they had Brooke come out. She did I thought they would do sort of like a big contract signing for next week, since they announced that they were doing contract signing. It was nothing more than Brooke Hogan making a small penis joke at Bully Ray, and Bully Ray signing the contract. They made a pre-match stipulation, much like the one they did only a few months ago for Sting, that if Bully Ray loses this title shot, he can never get another title shot ever again. Kind of weird. I'm really thinking that he's really going to win this title, and they're making it a little bit too obvious. They did say if he loses it, but they didn't say if he didn't win it, like due to disqualification. If Hogan just came down there and found a way to get him disqualified, and he wasn't able to win the match, what would happen? But I don't know. Brooke setting this up wasn't that good if she wasn't asking for him to sign the divorce papers, but maybe they've moved away from them being married all the time. I wasn't noticing if he was wearing the ring or not. Really good matches for the Bound for Glory series. We had Jeff Hardy beating Samoa Joe. This match was really, really freaking awesome. One of the smartest things I've ever seen them do in this Bound for Glory thing, and I really didn't know what it was. It was Mr. Anderson, and he was wrestling against Magnus. During the match, Bobby Roode just comes strolling out, nails Mr. Anderson with a chair, and it's a DQ. Roode comes over, and he sort of pats Magnus on the back, and I thought, wow, Bobby Roode just turned face. And I was like, wow, that's that's a pretty cool thing that, he's moving in that way. He's sort of, giving a pat on the back to the main event Mafia, sort of putting them over, and he'll be moving in that direction. And then I see him smirking as he's walking up, and the hamster on the wheel starts turning inside my head. That's what they did. That's pretty freaking smart. Magnus, who was number 1 in the Bound for Glory series, with him getting a disqualification, lost him 10 points. So Robert Roode got himself back into there, sort of setting himself up with a feud for Magnus. Mr. Anderson got a few points for picking up a DQ win. And I thought that was one of the smartest things they've ever done in the Bound for Glory series. Why they saved this till now, I'm not sure. But this was brilliant. And then they played up the whole thing about Magnus being pissed off. Brian Hebner sort of second-guessing everything that he did in the match, knowing that Magnus was screwed, but the rules are the rules, and there's nothing more than they can do for it. They went back in the back and gave a promo. Magnus sort of forgave the referee, and will live to see another day. Next thing that was out there was Tito Ortiz came to the ring. The fans never really get into this because I don't think a lot of the fans really understand why they shoot 2 shows in one day, and they act like it's a week later. But Tito Ortiz came out there. He was delivering a promo, just saying this, that, and the other. Not really a whole bunch of anything. Kurt Angle came down there and got in his face. Now, I have said that I think Kurt Angle versus Rampage Jackson on TNA Impact is the wrestling moment of the year. I marked out for that for more than anything I've marked out for all year. It felt like a big moment that they were setting up something really big. I know that all they did was really join the main event Mafia together, and it doesn't look like a match is coming in the foreseeable future, but they made me want to order a show that there wasn't even a show. But Angle came down there, he got in Tito Ortiz's face. He was wearing some sunglasses that had the American flag on them. I've never seen him wear these glasses, and I hope he never wears these glasses ever again. It wasn't good. From there, we went to James Storm and Gunner, the TNA Tag Team Champions, and OGB going up against Bromance and Mickey James, not the X Division, Mickey James, the X Division champ, Mickey James, a knockout champion. Now, I was under the understanding that Taryn Terrell was getting the real big push, that she was the person that was going to be going up against Mickey James. And last night on the news site, I read that she's off making a movie, and TNA really doesn't even know if she's coming back or if they're bringing her back. Sort of saying that there was plans for her to win the title at Bound for Glory in a big moment against Mickey James, and they don't even know if they're going to be able to get that done. I don't know if they've bailed on Taryn Terrell or if Taryn Terrell's bailed on them, but this is not good news. I love Taryn Terrell. Get her back, honestly, as often as you can. The good guys got the win in that match. It wasn't that great, but it was good. The whole night, they kept on running promos for Kazarian and Christopher Daniels over, they had a fight tonight for the Bound for Glory series, and, they were cutting promos on who the better of the two was. Christopher Daniels kept on saying that he was doing good in the Bound for Glory series, while Kazarian hasn't even won a match yet. So they were sort of trying to one-up each other. And then they get in the ring to have this match. They just step out of the ring and they take the count out. Now, this isn't as good as the Bobby Roode and Magnus deal, where Magnus got screwed out of 10 points in a match that he didn't even lose. But this was fun. The tag team partners didn't want to fight each other, and they stepped out of the ring. I'm not really making it sound as good as it is, and the review that I'm reading to make this video really is bombing on this match, and I'm trying not to pay attention to what they're reading, because it'll mess up what I'm saying, but basically they were saying that this is a dud. I really thought that they were playing up a Bad Influence breakup the whole show. I fell for it. They took the count out, and as they walked out in Bad Influence style, they made you feel like an idiot for thinking that they were going to fight. In the main event, which I did not think was a good match at all, Chris Sabin and Kurt Angle, it was teased that it was going to be Chris Sabin and Sting, but at the last moment, Sting stayed on the apron, and Kurt Angle came in and they took the early advantage over Team 3D. They had a match, and one of the build-ups for the show, with Chris Sabin becoming the #1 contender, and Bully Ray sort of not wanting to fight Chris Sabin, was that, Team 3D was not allowed to be a team anymore because the Motor City Machine Guns beat them. In that match, it was whoever lost the match could not be a tag team anymore. They were either going to break up the Team 3D or the Motor City Machine Guns. That was only a month ago that they were hyping that up. That's why Chris Sabin was a valuable person to go up against there. And here they are, fighting Team 3D again. I know that they're inside Aces and Eights, but I mean, if you make an angle, you have to stay with that angle. Sting lost a match that says he never gets a title shot. He should never get another title shot. If Bully Ray loses this match, he should never get another title shot. No matter how many lawyers or how many this, that, or the other, they build into all of these stipulations. That's what they went with. That's what they have to stick with. It doesn't make any sense. Team 3D was a great team. They said they were 23-time tag team champions, but they lost this match. It's the stipulation inside this company they shouldn't tag together. They go tag on some local indies. They leave TNA. They go to WWE. That's fine. But in TNA, they've already set the standard. They're not going to be a team anymore. Why are they teaming? It doesn't make any sense. You use this as an angle last month on why this guy shouldn't fight Bully Ray because they thought that he actually had a chance to beat him. They're stupid. But anyways, they build down to the last match. Bully Ray setting up a table into the corner. He's trying to whip him around. Chris Sabin goes up to the top rope with a little late offense. He hits the... what the fuck is his move? He jumped off the top rope and he hit him, basically, and he got the pin, making himself look good over Bully Ray. There was a lot of kids in the front row. They were all pumped that Chris Sabin got the win. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that Chris Sabin will not be the champion after next week's show. It's Hardcore Homecoming. They have that match. They have the leftovers from Aces and Eights going up against the main event Mafia. The loser of this match, they cannot be together anymore. We'll have to see where we go from there. I don't think they're going to break up the main event Mafia, but then again, I don't really want to lose Aces and Eights. It's a lot of guys out there that they haven't really said if the stipulation is they can't be together anymore, or if these guys are all going to get fired and lose their jobs. But then again, they sort of drew the line, and I think by being in Aces and Eights, they aren't TNA workers anymore. So out of this group, at least that a lot of these guys aren't going to get... a lot of these guys are probably going to get sent back down to developmental. They'll be in Ohio Valley again for a little while before they bring them back up. But more than likely, Mr. Anderson's going to be there. Maybe he'll just exit TV for a while, and then he'll come back. But that's going to be a hard one to explain, how these guys can't be together anymore. And Team 3D went through the same thing, and they're on this card, and they were in this match. But maybe I'm just thinking too much. Next week's going to be a big one. Try to make a prediction video if they put out more matches, but it's definitely going to be fun. Peace out. See you later.